What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and to this overview of RX9, the absolutely amazing plugin from iZotope. This is probably the pinnacle of audio restoration, and I'm just gonna go through some of its modules to show you how insane this software is. You can remove some things that literally were impossible to get rid of until very recently, and RX9 has some pretty cool features that lets you just get rid of the most annoying noises out there and get a result that's super clean, even though you started with something that was full of crud. And what I have set up today is just a basic recording with this cheap lavalier mic that you see on screen now. And this is from back in the day when I used to do podcasts outside, and I had so much trouble getting all of the junk out of my audio recordings. It was a pure nightmare to get rid of all of the stuff that was not vocals. And if I had RX back in the day, it would have saved me so much hassle and I would have gotten so much better results. So I'm gonna drop my recording in and you'll hear how bad it is. I'm just gonna play a bit of it at the beginning. And this is kind of an extreme example. I'll keep this on waveform for now, even though later on I will switch to spectrogram just because I'll have to deal with some specific things in more detail. But for now, each of these sections of the recording, so to speak, deals with a specific sound. So it's kind of rustling at the beginning that I need to tackle. So let's have a listen to that and see what we can do with the rustle module. Let's see, we go to derustle. You've heard how awful that sounds. I'm gonna first try with the ambient preservation. Extremely clean. Let's see without it to get as clean a sound as possible. That's absolutely amazing. This is literally magic. I'm gonna render that and we have almost nothing left. The next bit of it, and I do apologize for people with misophonia because I am one of them, has a lot of mouth noises. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. I do hope that no one will have to deal with something like that in their recordings, but let's see what we can get with the mouth declick. See if we can make it a bit more sensitive, and maybe let's lean towards the high frequencies and preview. Whole lot better. I'm going to render that and let's see if we can get it even tighter than that. Sometimes if you run the process again, you'll get better results. And let's try widening the clicks a bit, and maybe let's try skewing the other way around and just a bit more sensitivity. Happy with that. Much better. Let's listen to the next bit. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. So the quality of those vocals is pretty bad, and there's also some plosives there because obviously it's a cheap lavalier mic. So let's try the plosive on it and see what we get. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. Happy with that. I'm gonna render it, and maybe let's try a bit of reverb. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. I love that. Maybe let's also try some decrackle. I'm moving furniture. This is a test with a cheap mic. So that's the stuff that we will be getting rid of. And now, hearing that in context, I might be tempted to use it here as well. Let's see what we would be removing. Okay, I do not like those sounds, so whoops. Let's not output crackle only. Much better. Coming back to the vocals here. Let's try a bit of a dialogue isolate. This is a test with a cheap mic. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. How amazing is that? There's literally nothing left from the background noise, and I was moving furniture around. So let's see what the wind module can do to that part of the sound. And it's getting rid of a lot of that sort of industrial noise in the background. And there's still this machine sound in the background. And I'm going to try to use the deconstruct module to get rid of that. So I'm going to take the tonal gain completely off and have a listen to this now. And listen to what it sounded like before. Can you hear that sound? That one's completely gone now. I'm gonna render that. Happy with it. And then I'm gonna try doing the same with this section here. But instead of having tonal go away, I'm gonna get rid of a bit of that windy sound. Much better. Let's see what we can do with the de-wind. You get a much cleaner sound now that it's not having to deal with all of that tonal stuff in the background. So this is fantastic. Next, a bit of ambient sound and some other noises. So there's some crackling going on. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna put it on high, of course. And I'm gonna hit render because I really don't want that stuff at the beginning. I'm gonna try the de-wind again on this. Let's see what we get. I love that it removes part of the annoying ambience caused by that wind. I'm gonna hit render. And then I'm gonna use the deconstruct again to get rid of the tone. I'm gonna keep that at 0. There isn't that much there, but you can kind of hear people in the distance, and all of that talking actually is pitched, so I'm getting rid of all of that. And then I could even lower this a bit as well. Listen to the transition to see how drastic of a change this is. And finally, this is probably the worst section of the recording, so I'm talking over some noise. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what we have to start with. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Horrendous. Let's see what we can do. First of all, the plosives bother me, so let's see what we can do. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Love that. I'm gonna take it a bit lower than that because I feel that it takes a bit of my low end off. Let's try the de-rustle because that's one thing that really bothers me towards the end of this. Let's have a listen. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Yes, let's try the ambience preservation because some of my words at the end get a bit choked. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Now, let's get rid of some mouth clicks. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Let's see what we're getting rid of. There's a lot of background noise, but maybe I'm not too happy with the EQ of that section. So what I'm going to do is play this and see if I need to do anything EQ wise. And there is a bit of a proximity effect. So what I'm going to do is find that region. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Sounds just a bit cleaner to me. There's also a bit of extra something around 500, the kind of nasality that I have in my voice. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. There's also a bit of unevenness when it comes to the dynamics of that, so I'm just going to use the leveler. So as you can see, some of the quieter bits in those words got amplified. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. So as you can hear, this was a bit more open sounding just because removing all of those elements, you do more often than not lose high-end information. So what I'm going to attempt to do is learn the EQ curve of this and then apply it to this. There's a lot of background noise. This is me walking across the room. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Just to bring it a bit closer, let's say I wanted to do something like that. And then this example here has a lot of junk because of those keys rattling. So let's see what I can do to remove some of that. So let's try spectral repair. So I selected this sort of keychain rattle, and there's also one that's kind of identical at the beginning. And let's see if I can get rid of this one, because the objective here isn't to completely remove any instance of any sound. It's just to get rid of those keychain rattles, or at least attenuate them so they're not distracting. So what I do is go to partials and noise, because this is a bit of a harmonic sound and it's not only noise. So I isolated that region. I'm gonna hit compare. Visually it just disappeared. I'm gonna hit render and let's listen. There's still a bit of a ringing here, but what I'll do is actually use the deconstruct module, put the tone down completely, leave the noise up, and then click render, and it got rid of that. There's still a bit left there, but it's way less than it was before. So let's try to apply that on this entire region. Again, selecting the region. It's a bit more broad strokes now, but I'm gonna go spectral repair, keep the same settings, and then render, because I know basically what I'm gonna get, and I get that. So obviously there's just a bit of that top end windy noise that's missing now because of all of the processing that happened, but you can go back to the previous bit and get rid of some of that with the dewind function, which we could do now, and maybe even with the deconstruct. Again, keeping that, I'm gonna hit render just because, and then I'm gonna use the dewind, again classic, adding it. Let's have a listen to that. So now you kind of have two different ambiances. So what we could do is ambience match. So we're going to learn the first one and apply it to the second one. I think it's time to add the wind. And we're in business. And just to remind you, we started with this type of sound and we got to almost maintaining exactly the same background noise. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You can do so many things with this. It's absolutely incredible. There's all of these modules that I didn't even touch that you can use in music. It has all of these utility features that are equally amazing as well. It's kind of iZotope, so you know what you're getting on that front. But these modules are absolutely fantastic. And just to show you, just to highlight the crazy amount of processing that we did and how transparent all of these effects are, let's listen to a before and after. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. This is a test with a cheap mic. I'm moving furniture. I'm walking across the room. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. There's a lot of background noise, a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in a vocal recording. Give RX9 a go. You can get the demo right now. You can also check out Plugin Boutique to see if you have some offers there. If you also own another iZotope product, go on their website and log in. You might find that you have some crazy discounts on the products. And let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know what you think about RX9. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.